Well, good day, good day. Welcome to another episode of the Bobby Brown Podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Brown. How you doing today? It is New Year's Eve, and I want to wish everybody a happy New Year. And I know despite what's been going on for the past few years, and to a lot of us, what's been going on forever, you cannot let that deter you. We'll talk about that at the end of this particular segment, because you're going to always have people out here that's going to be preaching doom and gloom, lying, scheming, conning, doing everything under the sun, not to lift you up, to bring you up, to make you shine, but to keep them lifted up, bringing themselves up to make them shine. In case in point, this young gentleman right here. Now, before I get into this, always check to see if you're still subscribed, because they're unsubscribing people by the droves. So go and make sure you're still subscribed. If you see that you're unsubscribed, go ahead and resubscribe again, because YouTube like to play games. The algorithm is not in favor of me because of some of the controversial things we talk about here on the show. So make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure your notification bell is hit, and make sure it's on always, or whatever. The last one. Make sure that is on. That way, every time a video is dropped, whoop, there it is, you'll get the alert. Because a lot of people saying, I didn't know I was unsubscribed. I didn't know I was getting an alert. Also, if you want to support the stream, you can do that through PayPal. The information is going to be at the top of the screen. Your gifts of loves and donation are really appreciated. But this year, it's all about driving harder, faster than ever before. I'm going to be taking a lot of time shaping this broadcast, molding this broadcast or this podcast to be a driving force when it comes to black media. And when it comes to media in general, when it comes to progressive thinking, progressive growing, and progressive expanding. And I'm not talking about progressive for political. I'm talking about just you becoming all you can be. I becoming all I can be. So today's story, we're going to talk about Brian Williams. You know, with this new year coming, you're going to be making some changes that are easy to do, some changes that are not easy to do, and some of them going to be personal, and some people going to take it personal and things like that. But it's all about you. You have to make the necessary changes so you can grow and expand in your life. And this channel is also going to be dedicated in helping you doing that, as well as helping myself do that. So let's get on to the storyline. Brian Williams. Brian Williams, the defunct, failed host of the 11th Hour, lying extraordinary himself, has decided to step down recently from his position as the lead anchor on the 11th Hour. Now, before we go into detail about his speech, which was nothing but a whole bunch of casting fear and anxiety, as usual, which the media loves to do, but this guy, who's supposed to be the face of calm, the face of trust. See, back in the day when you saw Walter Cronkite, you trusted that guy. I don't care who you were, you trusted him. Even when you had people like Radner, Dan Rather, you trusted Dan. You trusted what's the other guy? I can't think of his name right now. But you trusted these people. You don't trust these people today, man, because they're a bunch of lying hacks. Nobody trusts Rachel Maddow's show, her and the crazy Russiagating. Nobody trusts Chris Hayes. Nobody trusts, Don Lemon, Anderson Cooper, Sean Hannity. And if anybody trusts freaking Tucker Carlson, and I'm gonna keep on riding y'all behind, sitting up here celebrating because a lefty go on Tucker Carlson. I don't mind a lefty go, a lefty, you can go wherever you want to go. But if you claim you love black people and you claim you are anti-bigotry and anti-racism, why would you sit there and not challenge this bigot news anchorman? Well, I want to be able to get back on the show so I can talk about my point of view, because I want to reach that audience as well as reach the audience on the left. I want to reach the audience as the right, so sometimes I gotta kiss a little Tucker Carlson behind just to sit there and get my message point across. I've changed his mind in so many areas. Yeah, but you probably ain't changing his mind in the areas that need to be changed. He's still a flaming racist bigot. But that's besides the point. We know what Tucker Carlson is. It's these ones on the left that lie, scheme, con, such as Brian Williams. Good day. And in advance, Happy New Year. I've been dealing with this Omicron for the past, since New Year's, Christmas Eve. I was planning on going to Florida to spend time with family. Went to the hospital that Christmas Eve. They say, yo, you look like you got some signs. You need to quarantine for 10 days. So I went ahead and canceled my trip. Thank God I got my money. Thank God I can use that trip within a year. And here I am trying to prepare myself to make sure that I keep the symptoms down and continue to be a productive citizen. They talked about changing it from 10 days to 5 days because they want to get your butt back to work. We'll talk about that a little later. I'm not going to go into detail on that. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Gucci is what I call him. I don't understand how y'all listen to that liar. There's too many people in media that lies. Dr. Fauci is one of them. But let me get into this. We're talking about lying Brian Williams. Well, Brian Williams recently went on his last episode of the 11th Hour, and he began to say his final words in his Be Gone speech. And I say, poof, be gone. But first, we want to rewind and see how credible of a gentleman Brian Williams is. So what we're going to start here is we're going to start right here where Brian begins to talk about his position. Brian's talking about his position as an anchor man in the middle of Desert Storm. And boy, did he tell a doozy. That dude told a doozy. Let me take these glasses off. I can lie. Before we get into this, let me go ahead and put this up here and read this to you. In good faith, the work contains fair use of copyrighted and non-copyrighted images from the public domain and the web for non-commercial or non-profit educational purposes. The work is distributed free of charge. The Bobby Brown Show, the Bobby Brown Podcast, and Bob TV, yeah, that's me. We don't charge for this. The author has neither monetized this work nor sought any profit from its distribution. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for the purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes. Where am I? I got lost for a second. Copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Give me a moment, guys. Tips the balance in favor of fair use. This work contains original works of commentary and critical analysis. Quotations are attributed to the original author and its sources. So before I get into this, let me look at my cracked up phone. That's all I wanted for Christmas was a phone. And make sure that you can actually hear me and you can hear these videos, because yesterday I did this video and nothing happened at all. So give me a moment. All right, so you can hear me. Let's test these videos out. All right, let's go to the first one.
Now to the controversies.
All right. Let's test these videos out. All right, let's go to the first one.
Now to the controversies.
All right, so we're good to go. All right. So here we are on Morning Joe, another platform with two big liars. And they're going to talk about Brian Williams lying. It's funny, liars disgusting other liars. But we're going to watch this real quick, and we're going to see where all this started, and we're going to move fast forward to him and his final speech.
Now to the controversy surrounding the anchor of NBC Nightly News, Brian Williams. We're going to walk you through what has happened so far. So last week on Nightly News, Williams recounted a moment from his time embedded with the U.S. Army during the Iraq invasion.
The story actually started with a terrible moment a dozen years back during the invasion of Iraq, when the helicopter we were traveling in was forced down after being hit by an RPG.
Nigga look like Orange Cassidy up there. Look like Orange Cassidy. Let me go back. You know Orange Cassidy on AEW.
And was forced down after being hit by an RPG. Our traveling NBC News team was rescued, surrounded, and kept alive by an armored mechanized platoon from the U.S. Army 3rd Infantry.
It was a story that Williams had told several times over the years, including in detail during one appearance on Late Night with David Letterman.
So this guy told this story multiple times. Went on a world-renowned show, David Letterman, and told that same story.
In 2013, according to Variety, a person familiar with the situation said that NBC News executives had counseled Williams in the past to stop telling the story in public, though this is disputed by someone familiar with current NBC News operations.
So he's been told over and over again, dude, this is a lie. Stop lying. If anybody gonna tell you a lie, it's us. Don't come up with your own lies. I got a list of lies I need you to tell on this segment. I don't need you telling your own lies. These are the only lies we want you talking about on this show. If you keep talking about your own personal lies, we got to get rid of you, brother. So he's been reprimanded and dealt with before for telling this fabricated bullcrap of a story, trying to make himself look like a hero. Instead of earning his hero status, he's trying to paint a picture to con you into believing that he's a hero. And that guy is not. No, you are no hero, Brian. You're not a hero.
After Friday's recounting, one of the crew members of that helicopter challenged Williams with this Facebook post.
So a crew member, somebody who was actually on the plane, is calling his punk card, challenging his story on Facebook.
Sorry, I don't remember you being on my aircraft. I do remember you walking up about an hour after we had landed to ask me what had happened. Other crew members confirmed this discrepancy.
So, dude, you weren't even on this plane. You wasn't even on this helicopter. You were nowhere near it. The only time I saw you, bros, when we landed and you come on walking over here like you was always a part of this. You ain't a part of this, dude. You came after the fact. And now you want to make a story that you are actually on this helicopter, plane, whatever you want to call it, after getting hit with an RPG. Dude is a big fat liar.
To the military magazine Stars and Stripes. On Wednesday, Williams addressed the issue.
On this broadcast last week, in an effort to honor and thank a veteran who...
So now he got caught up in his lie. The news executives told him, dude, now we got to clean up the mess. But we ain't going to clean it up. You getting your butt out there and clean up this mess. And if you have to eat crow, you're going to eat crow. But you get out there and tell the truth. And here he is. And he's still, even in this speech, trying to make himself look good, even though he told a lie. In my efforts to honor. Because that's what that is. Him trying to cover cover up or make himself look good because it looked like crap right now.
Last week, in an effort to honor and thank a veteran who protected me and so many others after a ground fire incident in the desert during the Iraq War invasion, I made a mistake in recalling the events of 12 years.
No, you don't make a mistake, dude. You've been telling this same lie for eons. You've been called on the carpet for telling this same lie. You've been threatened to be reprimanded, to step down, to be suspended for telling this same lie over and over again. So there is no mistake in this. This fool actually saying that it was a mistake. No, you intentionally did this. Let's hear what he said.
During the Iraq War invasion, I made a mistake in recalling the events of 12 years ago. It did not take long to hear.
Folks, understand this. Lying, you don't make a mistake lie. Lies are premeditated. You don't make a mistake lying. Okay? And the number one purpose for lying is what will happen if you tell the truth. I can't be truthful in telling you the truth, because if I told you the truth, I'm going to lose your friendship, I'm going to lose your connection in my life, or I'm going to lose your credibility, I'm going to lose integrity with you, whatever. The number one reason why people lie is because they fear if they tell the truth, they're not going to get a positive reaction from it. And usually you don't. So they lie. And then they cover up the lie. And then they lie on top of the lie. And they make a whole 5-layer, 10-layer lie cake trying to cover up the 1-layer lie they told they had to add 15 layers on the lie. So no, it don't work. You did not make a mistake, dude. You knew you lied. And now he's sitting up here lying about the lie that he lied about.
Hear from some brave men and women in the air crews who were also in that desert. I want to apologize. I said I was traveling in an aircraft that was hit by RPG fire. I was instead in a following aircraft. We all landed after the ground fire incident and spent 2
The guy who was on the flight said, I didn't see you until you pull up. In other words, until you came up in some kind of SUV, military SUV, that's when I saw you. He's still talking about I was on one of these helicopters. And look, we just saw a picture of him being on a helicopter, but that don't mean it was one of those.
Harrowing nights in a sandstorm in the Iraq desert. This was a bungled attempt by me to thank one special veteran, and by extension, our brave military men and women, veterans everywhere, those who have served while I did not. I hope they know they have my greatest respect, and also now my apology.
Williams also took to...
So dude just lied. And now he's trying to cover himself. You have my apologies, I lied, but no big deal for me. Now, I can't stand Joe Scarborough leaves his wife and go be with Mika. What you do with your personal life, that's, you tend to say, hey, that's your business. But dude, this was all in our face. We knew, I saw this was coming. I'm like, yo, and they're a little too close on those sets, and they traveling together. That's why it's good not to pair up like that, because some people can't handle that. They're weak and they'll fall. And clearly they were weak and fall, and now they're married. I think they're married. I know they're a couple, have been a couple for a while. But here we got her line behind up here talking about Brian lies.
Facebook, writing to members of the crew in part, I feel terrible about making this mistake, especially since I found my own writing about the incident from back in 2008, and I was indeed on the Chinook behind the bird that took the RPG in the tail housing just above the ramp. Because I have no desire to fictionalize my experience. We all saw it happen the first time.
Dude, you're fictionalizing from the start. I have no desire to fictionalize. That's all you do is fictionalize. Get out of here.
And no need to dramatize events as they actually happened. I think the constant viewing of the video showing us inspecting the impact area and the fog of memory over 12 years made me conflate the two, and I apologize. Reaction online.
Another apology.
And by many media critics and veterans was swift and often harsh and mocking in tone. Extensive coverage of the story includes pieces by the New York Times, Washington Post, Baltimore Sun, and USA Today, with some calling for Mr. Williams to be fired. Others came out in support of Williams, including Paul Rieckhoff, the founder of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, who urged veterans to forgive Williams in part because...
Why? This is supposed to be a trusted man in media who the world's supposed to look to guide them with world affairs. And he's a bald-faced liar. And then you got somebody saying, oh, just forgive him, just forgive him. Look, you can forgive him, but that don't make him not a liar. That don't mean he's not going to lie to you again. You can accept his apology, but that doesn't change him. To me, it's like a lion biting you and then you survive, but you apologize and do whatever you can to let the lion go.
Because of his, quote, tremendous dedication to men and women in uniform. And yesterday on CNN, Rich Krell, the pilot of the Chinook in which Williams was riding, offered his version of the events.
Mr. Williams was on board my aircraft. We took small arms fire. All I know is one RPG was fired. It struck the lead aircraft, which was about what we call 6 rotor disc in front of me.
When he claimed last week that his helicopter had been hit by an RPG, that's obviously not true. But do you take issue with other parts of the story that he's been telling for years, that the helicopter took small arms fire and that he was scared?
Well, no. I mean, we were all scared. That's the truth. You know, there's minor details through here and there. Once we landed, we set up a perimeter, the 3 Chinooks. He talked about the Bradley 3rd ID guys coming in. They were a great help, but they didn't show up until almost a day and a half later.
So even what's his name? Jake Tapper calling them out on the lines. And how do we know this chief warrant officer is telling the truth just to cover up? See, folks, my whole point is when a person starts a trail of lies, it's hard to believe them going forward. But some people forgive people and give them the benefit of the doubt and let them continue to go with that. But here's Brian Williams talking to Matt Lauer about this situation on this show. Now here you got Matt Lauer. I say liar because we got another liar, a person who was Me Too'd off this show, sat there and lied to the American public face himself. But let's listen to this liar talk to that liar about that lie.
We know a lot of viewers of this broadcast, many of you who tune into us each night with your families, have been eager to hear from Brian Williams, who was suspended earlier this year because of inaccurate statements he has made about some of his experience.
Out in me, what
off limits.
Now, I wasn't eagerly waiting. I could care less. Who was eagerly or waiting for Brian to tell the truth or talk about his lie? I could care less about. I don't need to. You got a freaking expose with Matt Lauer, allowing him to talk about why he lied. You're taking up valuable time and space on media, other issues to talk about. Flint, Michigan, wealth gap between blacks and whites still wider than all outside. You got many things to talk about, but we got to sit here and have him explain his lies to a guy who got Me Too'd.
You're a family man. Personally, what have these 5 months been like?
it has been a time of realization, trying to find out in me what changed. You know, in our work, I have always treated words very carefully.
So now he an MC. Now he's a lyricist. I treat my words seriously. Yeah, we see that. You carefully crafted a freaking lie, man. Now look, we all can lie. And we all do lie. And I told you the reason why we all lie, most of us lie, because we fear that if we tell the truth, it's not going to be well received, so we lie. Fear is in the way. He want to craft his words carefully.
It's the coin of our realm. That's our tool. It's the key to our credibility and our integrity. But Matt, it is clear that after work, when I got out of the building, when I got out of that realm, I used a double standard. Something changed. And I was...
Negro, nothing changed. You're a liar. I don't know what happened. Oh, it's like the Omicron came on me and I started feeling weak and something changed in my body. I don't know. I usually carefully craft my words, Brian, in our field of network journalism and being an anchor man. Our word is our bond, and I don't know what happened, but something happened, and that wasn't me. It wasn't me. Get out of here, man.
Sloppier, and I said things that weren't true. Looking back, that's plain.
So you say sloppy. So did you not deal with the reality that when you walked away from NBC, whether it was to appear on a late night talk show or some other venue, some other interview show, that the title and the responsibilities of anchor/managing editor of Nightly News traveled with you?
I think that's exactly it. Looking back, it had to have been ego that made me...
Looking back, it had to be my ego. Everywhere you go, when you have that type of fame, that's why I'm not a big fan of Charles Barkley. I'm going to deal with his butt sooner or later. I don't want to be a role model. Dude, you already a role model. You don't have to cast yourself out to be one. LeBron James don't have to cast himself out to be a role model. Kids gonna look up to you anyway because they want to be in your position. You got people that want to be journalists that looked up to Brian Williams, so yet he failed to give them a good example. I mean, of course, you let people know that you're not perfect and you do fall short. We all fall short of the glory of God. But to sit here and try to explain away how this is just, it's beyond me. As a journalist, this is way out of my character. Dude, it's way in your character. Because you've been told this multiple times, stop telling that doggone lie. But we get into, I'm just basically going through what I believe is Brian's history. He's stepping down now, and he has nothing to be proud of. And if anybody think that he should be proud of the work that he's accomplished as an anchor man, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Think I had to be sharper, funnier, quicker than anybody else. Put myself closer to the action, having been at the action in the beginning.
But was it conscious, Brian? Because let's go back to January when you went on Nightly News and you recounted a story about a military veteran who played a role.
And we ain't gonna talk about how you pushed up on one of those girls in the newsroom, Matt Live. We ain't gonna talk about that right now. Let's talk about Brian Lies.
In a harrowing chopper ride you took while covering the Iraqi war. And you told this story. You had told some versions of it in the past in other venues. Did you know it was not true?
I told the story correctly for years before I told it incorrectly.
That's like saying, look, it's gonna get worse before it get better. I told it correctly all these years before I told it incorrectly. Why you couldn't keep telling it correctly? Because you've been telling a lie all these years. You're lying right now, dude. You're lying right now. You're trying to cover up for your lie. America trusted this guy, man. I just looking at him, I know it wasn't something right. Just like an inward witness, man. It's like, a man's entering, this guy was conning people.
I was not trying to mislead people. That, to me, is a huge difference.
I was not trying to mislead you. I was misleading you. Some things you don't have to try, because I'm that good, I don't try. I don't have to try to shoot 3 points. I shoot 3 points. That's what I do. I was not trying to mislead. Of course you wasn't trying. You intentionally mislead people. You good at it.
Here. After that incident, I tried and failed, as others have tried and failed. And why is it when we're trying to say, I'm sorry, that we can't come out and say, I'm sorry?
But we
because that's what liars do. Liars and pathological liars and people that have what's the word? I can't think of it. People that think they're better than everybody. Narcissists. Narcissists and lying go hand in hand. And clearly both of these guys are freaking narcissists. But Brian Williams is like one of them passive narcissists. He's so calm, so cool and collect. I can't imagine him cussing somebody out. If he do, he's going to sound like a newsman when he do it. Well, let me tell you something, you black son of a...
We live in a world right now, Brian, where people are not going to let this just rest. And so if there are other circumstances and other situations where you didn't tell the whole truth, would you like to take this opportunity now to correct the record on those?
I would like to take this opportunity to say that what has happened in the past has been identified and torn apart by me. And
dude, just say you lied, man. I lied. What do you expect from me? I lied. I'm actually telling the truth right now. I'm lying. I lied. This is the first time I told the truth in God knows how long. And the truth is, I lied. Here you go with this, trying to weave or tell all this word salad and trying to weave a story and, trying to put, lipstick on this pig.
Has been fixed, has been dealt with. And going forward, there are going to be different rules of the road. I know why people feel the way they do. I get this. I'm responsible for this.
See, he think that soft, monotone voice is going to weed people in, and it will. People who ain't got no sense, people who don't have a critical brain to use to cipher between the BS that he's talking. He's conning you with the soft voice. I have to understand that I did what I did. I didn't mean to do what I did. I don't understand why I did what I did, but I did what I did because I don't supposed to be doing what I did, but I did it anyway. Wait, what are you talking about? And as you see in his farewell speech, that's what that speech was all about, but we'll get to that in a moment.
I am sorry for what happened here. I am different as a result, and I expect to be held to a different standard.
Oh, boy. I'm different, and I expect to be held to a whole different standard. Bro, you held to the standard of everybody else. We all lie. Just admit you lied and just keep it at that. I lied, man. I mean, I fabricated, man. Sometimes I like to make myself feel like I'm bigger than I am. So I tell a story so you can say, woo, tough guy. Thank you for your service, sir. This guy, man's a legendary liar. And then, not to mention the fact that he's a straight up warmonger. In his position as anchorman, he gets more aroused over war than he do about people struggling through poverty, the homeless situation in America, things like that. Things that matter to America don't matter to Brian. The only thing that matters to Brian is I get all these sponsors from all these military complex. So when I see bombs and things like that, it turns me on, because those are the guys who pay me my paycheck. And so I see beauty in these bombs. Listen to this.
Go into greater detail. We see these beautiful pictures at night from the decks of these two U.S. Navy vessels.
See, Brian Williams liked to use his words, as he say, to paint a broader picture of something that's really small. It's like you telling your lady, baby, God dog, you fat. What you call me? I call you fat. Your mama fat? No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about PHT, fat. You thick in all places, right in the right places. So you hear one thing, but they hear something else. Brian Williams loved to use his, he likes to eloquently, he liked to make stuff that's nonsense. He tried to take it and make it seem like it's eloquently, like he did when he was with Malcolm Nance, this brother right here, who cared more about war and invading people's privacy and Russiagate more than he cared about black people getting their full equal rights. Not a fan of Malcolm Nance. Yet I see people who I know and love reading Malcolm Nance's book and look at this guy as if he's a black leader and he's going to do right for black people. Man, please. He's another political hack. He's an MSNBC hack. He's a contributor. And he's the guy who MSNBC go to when they need to start talking about black issues to make black people look bad. He's the person that's going to talk about black people and what black people should do. But let me get off Malcolm Nance and let's get back on Brian. And Brian's going to talk to Malcolm Nance about how he sees how these weapons are so beautiful, and the beautiful of the ships and in the middle of the night and the glorious beauty. And you can almost see the deepness of the beauty of these weapons. It's like the guy sitting up here, you know, like the dude on the water boy when he had his shirt off. He was like, that's what Brian Williams doing when he talk about bombs.
In the Eastern Mediterranean, I am tempted to quote the great Leonard Cohen, I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons. And they are beautiful pictures of...
Here, Trump being pressured by politics and politicians to invade Syria, to show himself presidential, as one black hack said on MSNBC. Forgot his name. Today, Trump actually becomes president. This is coming out of a black man mouth. A black man. Trump is now presidential since he dropped those bombs. Well, it's a good thing Trump warned Syria ahead of time so they can move any innocent people out the way. And I'm not a fan of Trump, but I give him props on that. He didn't just go all willy-nilly trying to bomb places, you know, and just try to take out Assad like Hillary Clinton. You hear Brian Williams talking about the beauty. They are beautiful. I mean, it's like a brick house. 36, 24, 36. Boy, if I can get close to one of those missiles. Psst. Man, I tap that missile. Look how shiny it is. That dude probably lay in the bed with a blow up missile. They start.
Of fearsome armaments, making what is for them a brief flight over to this airfield. What did they hit? What are you convinced?
Like, he don't know what they hit. He's retired CIA. Somebody's gonna tell him what it hit. Thank God it ain't hit real people, because you care more about the beauty of the bombs than the beauty of the people of Syria. I am guided and tempted, and I'm thirsting and lusting at the beauty of our bombs. Oh, look at those 2 bombs right there. They the bomb. People trusted this maniac, this lying fool that supports blood and guts and war, that's financed by Raytheon and Northrop Grumman and all that kind of stuff, all for war profits. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I got a lot of loved ones that work in military armament, building planes and ships and things like that. But the purpose of the ship building up an army is to show your presence strong. You don't supposed to actually try to figure out the way to use them for some of the foolish reasons. And that's what the media do. They'll fabricate all kind of lies so the military complex can have a reason to go out there and use the weapons that they created. The beautiful weapons. Oh, God. As Brian Williams would call them. Well, this warmonger, this lying warmonger, used car salesman of an anchor man, decided to step down. And we're going to listen to his speech. And in his speech, he don't just step down saying, this country is, greater days are ahead. We will bounce back from this and be better than ever. Good morning and good night, like I tell you guys when I get up off the air. This dude goes straight into fear-mongering. He turns into Alfred Hitchcock in his final farewell speech on the 11th hour in MSNBC. Now, don't get me wrong. This dude is only going to take a break. He's going to have another show where he can lie, cheat, steal, con, and help the military complex continue to get more record sales. And now let's listen to that speech from this dude.
Go into great. Well, look at the time. I'll try to keep this brief. After 28 years of Peacock logos on much of what I own, it is my...
Whoa. Let's stop. This guy said he actually obsessed and a fanatic for peacocks. Oh, he lying again. This dude just said with just about everything I own having a peacock logo on it. What is it with Brian and peas and cocks? Brian has just admitted that he's obsessed with peas and cocks. Everything he got has a peacock logo on it. This can't be true. You telling me your shoes got a peacock logo on it, your bedspread, your curtains, your car got a peacock. You know, some people got the angel with the wings on the Rolls Royce. And on your Rolls Royce, you got a big old peacock in front of the car. Your coffee mug, peacock. When you go to bed, you're in peacock pajamas. When you try to get busy with your wife, you got on peacock drawers. Your favorite suit is peacock suit. I didn't say that. That's what this dude said. Listen to him again.
After 28 years of peacock logos on much of what I own, it is my choice now to jump without a net into the great unknown, as I do for the first time in my 62 years. My biggest worry is for my country.
All right, so after years of being an anchor man and being in news and things like that, it's time for me to step down on my own. I'm making the choice. But my major concern is this country, not my family. Not my kids, not my portfolio, not my nest egg. It's this country. Folks, I'm tired of all these people claiming to be patriots, talking about their love for country. Get out of here with that crap. Some of you people are so patriotic that the way Brian Williams lust over weapons, that's how you are over the American flag. At least you claim to be, and you ain't that patriotic. Get out of here. America first. Yeah, I'm a patriot. Man, you ain't no bit more patriot than I am. Don't get me wrong, I love this country, but I ain't gonna sit here and act like this country's doing everything right by its people. And when they don't do everything right by its people, I'll call out the leaders in this country. And if I have to call out this country in the system that it was founded on, I'll do that. I'm concerned about my country.
The truth is, I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I'm an institutionalist.
Boy, is that true. I'm not a liberal or conservative. I'm an institutionalist. Well, dude, Brian, anybody that admits that they're liberal or conservative has been institutionalized. So you saying you're an institutionalist, but you're not a conservative. Dude, you all day a conservative Democrat. All day, every day, a conservative Democrat. So stop your lying again. You cape, you cover, you cheer, you root on Democrats like it's nothing. Like this is something as part of NBC, this is something I gotta do. We are Democrats. Scott, another lie. I'm an institutionalist. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. Dude, you Democrat all day. Stop, bro.
I believe in this place, and in my love of country, I yield to no one. But the darkness on the edge of town has spread to the main roads and highways and neighborhoods. It's now at the local bar.
All right, Cole, here we go. I make no apologies for my patriotism. Nobody can question me on my patriotism, my love for this country. I love this country just like Trump loved this country. But there's darkness on the other side of those hills. And that darkness is creeping up. Now let's listen to where he said this darkness has showed up. In other words, Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy has showed up on the scene. Darknesses.
It's now at the local bar.
All right, so darkness is at the bar. Can you give me a drink, please?
It's on highways and neighborhoods.
It's in your neighborhood. Hey, neighbor, how you doing? How's your mama?
Now at the local bar.
Can I have 2 brandies, please?
And the bowling alley.
Hey, I need one more game. I want to do one more game. Who playing with me? Do he got darkness shoes? Is his bowling ball straight black?
To play games, ask me to tell you a joke.
At the school board and the grocery store.
Darkness is bagging up groceries. Darkness is working in the produce section. Darkness is the head of the PTA. This dude, man. This dude is nuts.
And it must be acknowledged and answered for.
And you need to acknowledge that darkness is around, and you need to tell them what you're doing here. Why are you here? Why are you in our neighborhood, darkness? What is this guy talking about? This is his final farewell, and he's talking about darknesses. It's like this dude been hanging out with Rick James and Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy.
Grown men and women who swore an oath to our Constitution, elected by their constituents, possessing the kinds of college degrees I could only dream of, have decided.
So in other words, there are people who are electing people who are way smarter than me, but they got that darkness in them, boy. They're dark. They're real dark. They Bernie Mac, Wesley Snipes dark. They almost dark. They darker than dark. They're Amistad dark.
To join the mob and become something they are not, while hoping we somehow forget who they were.
So right now, a person who is not a liberal or a Democrat is doing what Democrats do, dump on conservative and try to paint the picture that every conservative is one of these Trump nut huggers that goes out and invade the Capitol. That's the darknesses. Bro, there's darknesses on the doggone left too. And if they could and had to, they'll probably invade the Capitol too. Don't act like you know better than nobody else.
They've decided to burn it all down with us inside.
This is this dude's farewell speech. And in his farewell speech, he's like, darkness is coming after us and they're going to take us and kill us all. They're going to burn it down with all us inside. We got to do something about this. You should be scared. Run. Run, Negro. Run. The darkness is, keep voting Democrats. Leave them Republicans alone. And you better not say you ain't going to vote and stop pushing the black agenda and saying no black agenda, no vote. Don't you realize darkness is out there? I know you dark, but you ain't dark as that dark. And our number one fear is the darkness taking over, and you got to do whatever you can to stop darkness from taking over. So go vote Democrat.
That should scare you to no end as much as it scares.
That should scare you to no end. This dude is leaving the air pumping fear in you. Instead of encouraging the country and emboldening the country, he used his last speech as the anchor man on MSNBC 11th Hour to scare the crap out of you. You should be scared. You should be afraid. Darkness is around, and darknesses have taken over half our electorate. And darkness is going to burn all of us up on the inside.
That should scare you to no end as much as...
It should scare you to no end. Not to this end. Not to that end. It should scare you to no end. There's no end. And you should be scared to no end. Because they coming to get you. This guy's nuts, man.
It scares an aging volunteer fireman.
It should scare you to no end as like it scares an aging volunteer fireman. Folks, I got a question. Aren't we all aging? Every police officer is aging. Every firefighter is aging. What is this dude talking about? It should scare you to no end. It should scare you like a... Look at him. Look at the face. I'm coming to get you. Dude, you look like you the darkness.
To my coworkers, my love and thanks, and I say again, everyone I've worked with has made me better at what I do. To my family, love and thanks doesn't begin.
So everybody working with you made you a better liar, made you a better luster for bombs and war, made you a fearmonger. They made you. I believe that, Brian. Because that's all MSNBC do. That's all that Fox News do. That's all these news networks doing. And that's all these doggone anchormans like yourself do.
To cover it, but now I have the time to better express it. My friends know who they are. No one's been blessed with better friends. To the guests on this broadcast, as you heard the nice man say a few minutes ago, it's always been about you. Otherwise, I'd be staring into the camera for an hour, 5 nights a week, and nobody wants to see that. You are the 11th hour and will continue.
You are the 11th hour. What the hell does that mean? You are the 11th hour. I don't get it. I could understand saying we are in the 11th hour, but I am the 11th hour. See, this dude, when he talked to Matt Lauer, he prides himself on weaving words like it's an art form, like it's a paintbrush, and all he doing is paint. But dude, you ain't painting no Picasso. You are not the Picasso of Anchormans. You're more like the third grader of Anchormans. You're finger painting right now, and it looks horrible. You know, of course, you're going to big up your child and kiss him, say, yeah, baby, that look good. But you know, if you take that to a museum, they're going to laugh at you. And I'm laughing at this dude.
To be the 11th hour. This is where I thank you, however, for being so great, for explaining these last 5 years. As a proud New Jersey native, this is where I get to say regrets. I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. What a ride it's been. Where else? How else was a kid like me going to meet presidents and kings and the occasional rock star? These lovely...
In other words, you got a good life, Brian. You got paid millions of dollars. You live in a beautiful penthouse. A penthouse. You got a house in, I think he has a house in Long Island also, and a house in Jersey. So he lived an extraordinary life. Very wealthy. Got a good pension, got health care, got all the things that you don't have. But he want to go around and scare you and tell you, be scared, be afraid, be very afraid. Darkness. Oh, I can feel it now coming on me. Oh, God. Sound like Paul Bearer from The Undertaker.
Testimonials that I can never truly repay make me hyper aware that it has been and remains a wonderful life. It's as if I'm going to...
See, he's admitting that he's having a wonderful life.
Wake up tomorrow morning in Bedford Falls. The reality is, though, I will wake up tomorrow in the America of the year 2021, a nation unrecognizable to those who came before us and fought to protect it.
How can you speak for everybody else? You can't speak for everybody else. It's the same freaking country. The elite is still trying to trample over poor people. White supremacy is still trying to keep its grip on this country as well as the world, like always. Black people still don't have their full equal rights, as always. Everybody coming to this country getting more perks than black people who've been here for a while. And it's tempted to cause tension between immigrants and black people. And you got immigrants thinking black, native blacks, you just stupid. Looking down on the people who are already here. Ain't nothing changed. This guy sitting up here telling you, I've had a fabulous life. But at the end of the day, this is not the same country. It is the same country for you, because even as you step down, you're still going to be rich. You're still going to be able to get anything you want. I guarantee you, Brian can go into any restaurant and they'll say, the meal is on me if I can just take a picture with you and put it on my wall, sir. And every time you keep coming in the place, the meal is on me, sir. And I guarantee you get all kind of perks that you don't get because he's famous and he's rich. But he want to scare you and tell you to be afraid of the darkness.
Which is what you must do now. My colleagues will take it from here. I will probably find it impossible to be silent and stay away from you and lights and cameras after I...
Of course, you're attention whore. You love the media. It is your crack. You will be back. It'll be in a different capacity. You probably begged them to let you anchor the 11th hour when they took you down from NBC Nightly News and put Lester Holt there. They probably felt bad for you and gave you a MSNBC nightly show, the 11th hour. And what you're going to do next is you'll probably get some kind of talk show, or you'll probably get a high profile behind the scene position. That dude ain't going nowhere. He lives the lie. And he lives to talk about war and profiteering and stuff like that. He ain't going nowhere.
experiment with relaxation and find out what I've missed and what's out there.
I'm going to experiment. These dude in these words, I'm going to experiment with relaxation. What the heck that mean?
Every weeknight for decades now, I've said some version of the same thing. Thank you.
Every week for decades, I said the same thing over and over again. Lie, 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 big up war. Lie, 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 big up war. Lie, 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 big up war. I said the same thing over and over again. Dude, you just admit that you're insane. Because you keep saying the same thing over and over again, and I know you're expecting to get different result out of what you're saying. And it usually don't work that way.
Thank you for being here with us. Us, meaning the people who produce this broadcast for you. And you, well, without you, there's no us. I'll show myself out until...
Of course, who's going to show you out? I'll show myself out. Wait, don't get up. Don't get up. Stay where you are and remain in fear because they're coming. I'll show myself out because I live in an area where they can't get to me. But you better beware because they're at the bowling alley. You ain't going to catch me in no bowling alley. If anything, I'll put a bowling alley in my house. But I'm going to see myself out.
Until we meet again, that is our broadcast for this Thursday night. Thank you for being here with us. And for all my colleagues at the networks of NBC News, good night.
Oh, boy. I don't see how people put trust and faith in these anchormen, not knowing that their personal life will spill over into their professional life. This guy has lied multiple times. Before that lie was told again, he was lying. And then when he got caught in the lie, he decided to go and try to go on a news media tour to talk about the lie, but lie about the lie. And then his thirst and lust for war and warmongering and things like that. And then he comes on here scaring you, telling you, you need to be afraid because darkness is everywhere. I'm telling you, this dude, he had to be hanging out with Charlie Murphy, Eddie Murphy, and Rick James, because he stole that phrase from him. Darkness is all around us. The only thing was dark was your career. I say good riddance, and I'm glad you're gone. Folks, always remember to go ahead and remind, like, share the podcast. If it's not up here, then it's going to be on BitChute or a brand new tube. And enjoy your New Year's Eve night. I'm going to use my Brian Williams voice. This year is going to be the best year yet. You can guarantee it. Just don't succumb to the darkness. See, I read in old ancient scripture that light dispelled darkness. And you make sure you're the light. And if we get everybody on that same page of being the light, you ain't got to be like Brian Williams with all his money and fame and prestige, fearing the darkness. I'm Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown Podcast. You have a good night.